Hello and welcome back to another week of Madmen with a Box, our weekly live stream where we talk about all the Doctor Who news when it exists, plus our topic or review at the end of the stream, which will be the Series 1 finale, Bad Wolf and the Parting of the Ways. I am joined as always by Pixel, who's on his road to get his doctorate back. And of course, I'm joined by Gevain of Animated Concepts.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, so we got a few bits of news. I got to meet someone special, so we can talk about that a little bit later as well. But since we're nearing Christmas, we're 3 days away from Christmas season. You know what that means, Pixel?
What's that?
It means Mariah Carey is being awoken from suspended animation. And her reign of terror, her month of terror, begins. The only one that's counteracting her is the reign of terror of Michael Bublé. We have two conflicting forces going at it for like the Christmas.
This year,
crown.
This year, I need a duet of a Christmas song with Michael Bublé and Mariah Carey. That's what I need.
Do you want the world to explode?
Yes.
That's how. That's the.
You want to break time
of the universe.
I need the world to explode because when putting down the titles for today, I put Bad Wolf and the Parting of Ways. I forgot that it was the Parting of the Ways. I think the Parting of Ways is a better title.
Nah. We're not parting the way. We're not parting ways. We're parting the ways. We're not parting the waves either, because this isn't a religious thing either. So, but anyway, no, I mean the Joy to the World, our Christmas special for 2024. Pixel, we've got a couple things about the Christmas special. It might not be Stephen Moffat's last episode.
Dun dun dun! Shocked am I.
Shocking news. Local liar lies again.
Yeah.
So, it was so Radio Times says that Stephen Moffat teases that Doctor Who 2024 Christmas special may not be his last episode after all. They keep pulling me back in. I didn't hear no bell. Which honestly, I'm not surprised. Like, am I going to trust him? He said, and I quote, from his own mouth, his own words, "I'd have to be crazy to go back to Doctor Who."
He is,
and then he came back.
Proved. He's insane. He's
insane. He's like all of us. We're mad, you could say.
Yes, we're madmen in a box, and we're
asleep. So yeah, honestly, this is like the least surprising thing ever for Stephen Moffat to say. Yes, it's probably not my last one.
But speaking of the Christmas special, Doctor Who magazine, which I'm no longer subscribed to.
Yeah, I'm not buying the magazine anymore either. I don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
So it's pointless for me to have the magazine, and it comes out like months after. So it's not like I'm getting them at the same time. It's just like there's no point.
The timey-wimey.
Yes, of course, because it's a Moffat penned story. The newspaper has a lot of reference. It has mainly the reference is just to 11th Hour. It is just 11th Hour. You know, Prisoner Zero found innocent. I think someone's manipulating the justice system right there. If I remember correctly, a lot of people were forced into comas against their will. A certain doctor that Rory worked under died. Don't think they. I don't know. I don't think the Atraxi would threaten to blow up a planet if someone was innocent. Although Inquisition in 40k is just as biased, so who am I?
I love that backdrop, by the way. I kind of just noticed it.
The Christmas themed wrapping backdrop
with the Daleks.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I need it. I need it now.
I think that was a thing that's just teasing the return of an old enemy, and there's Daleks there. I'm just it'd be funny if that is literally just it. It's just them on that cover. That's it. They're not even in the episode.
Well, listen, Shooty has one request. He wants to face a Dalek.
And that's fine.
Let him do it. Eventually. Not yet.
It's a nice looking cover. That's all I can really say.
Yeah. One more big piece of news that came out November 23rd. Why is that date important, you might ask?
I don't know. Nothing important, really. Nothing. I don't think there's any big celebration. It's not Christmas. It's not Valentine's Day.
It's just Doctor Who Day.
That's not important.
Not important. But guess what? An announcement was made on that day, on December 23rd this year. Guess what's coming out? The War Games in color.
Ooh, nice.
Yes. So this is their second one of doing a full in-color version of a classic black and white episode. The first one was, of course, the new first episode of Doctor Who, The Daleks.
Mm-hmm.
I have watched it. I've watched it. I have it. It's not that bad. It does suffer from random pacing issues because they've condensed it and cut stuff out. But other than that, it's a pretty fine colorization and condensing of a story. Now, the colorization of this looks good. I'm worried about it being, what was it? They said 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, War Games is a 10-part story.
Yep.
It is 250 minutes long, approximately. I don't think 90 minutes is going to do it justice. You're condensing about a 4-hour story into an hour and a half. Now, granted, this is a story that does suffer from classic Who pacing, could benefit from being shorter. But 2.5 hours cut out of it, I don't know.
I mean, when we reviewed it here on the channel, most of us gave it high praises despite the amount of pacing, but it's still all very good. But it's really going to be interesting to see what they decide is important enough to stay.
Yeah.
Especially considering, isn't the entire final episode dedicated to the end bit where Time Lords are coming in? Oh no, Jamie, we're going to have to go.
Yeah. So I'm wondering how this colorization is going to work. At least with that, at least with that cut down of the runtime. It's
also going to show a never before seen regeneration from Patrick Troughton into John Pertwee.
So they've just made it themselves.
Well, they said they're using it with archive.
I know they said they're adding deleted scenes that have never been seen before. I think
that's how they're using how they're doing the regeneration. That's
what is it? It's just a cam rip of that fan film Devious.
I hope
it's just the entirety of Devious. Just that's just how they do it.
I don't think so.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
I'll definitely pick this up. Once they announce and release a DVD Blu-ray version, because this, of course, Doctor Who Day, everyone's celebrating Doctor Who Day, but it premieres on iPlayer in the UK. So I hope you have a VPN, everyone. Yeah. BBC. Yeah. BBC's We don't own the colonies anymore. No one gets Doctor Who.
That's yeah.
America, Australia, all of you, we don't own you anymore, so you don't get to have Doctor Who unless it's on Disney Plus, and even then, it's just new series. You don't get any of the classics. You don't get any of the revival. You're just getting the 60th specials onwards.
Well, hopefully.
To which I say to the UK, figure out what a dentist is. Oi there, Governor. I get to watch Doctor Who. I get to watch Doctor Who on iPlayer, but I need to pay my television license. Imagine having to pay for a television license. You came up with the English language and you have to pay for a television license? You fucking goobers. You think you're so good with your Doctor Who all on iPlayer? You have to pay for a
Not
television
all on
license.
iPlayer. Not all on iPlayer anymore.
Boris Johnson. Need I say anything more? He existed in the UK. He still exists in the UK, just probably not in the... he's not the Prime Minister anymore, so you kind of got off that, but then you got worse options afterwards as well.
Thank you for being entertaining, Chris.
I'm gonna have to. That's how I mask my hatred of the British.
That's masking?
I'm acclimatizing to you Americans. I feel your pain. Maybe George Washington was, as the kids would say, based.
Cannot tell a lie.
Cannot tell Ian. I thought that was Abraham Lincoln.
The story of the story of the cherry tree is George Washington chopped it down, and then his father asked, and he said, "I cannot tell a lie."
Oh yeah, that's right. Washington couldn't tell a lie. Lincoln couldn't handle back shots.
Oh, come on!
Oh, that's awful. He was also honest, Abe, but
that joke works in multiple ways. Hey, I have a prime minister that just went out for a swim in the ocean and just never came back.
I mean, can you blame him?
I mean, I don't blame him. Then we named a swimming pool after him. Who the fuck thinks of that? Oh yeah, prime minister just disappeared in the ocean. Let's name a pool after him. It's like if someone died in lava and we named a volcano after them. It's if I died of the Black Plague 2 and they named it after me. Chris Plague. It's like, wow, thanks.
You're really earning your worth here today.
Yes,
You're on a roll.
I've been sick the past couple of days, okay? My energy is slowly returning. I'm like,
need this,
I'm like,
was this important to you?
I'm like Goku in Dragon Ball. This whole week I've been charging up my bloody spirit bomb. Just this whole time, 50 episodes. That's been my past week of being sick, of regaining energy, charging it up. So anyway, Doctor Who.
Doctor Who, Gevain. Today we are talking about the Series 1 finale, Bad Wolf and the Parting of Ways.
Hang on, we still had some more news.
We did?
We did. We had a little bit of news.
What?
Did you always want to win a Casio vintage watch?
Oh my god, that's on news!
Courtesy of Doctor Who. We can talk about it.
I think it's want to talk about it?
I do, because I think it's hilarious.
Okay, give me a second to pull up the watch. The watch.
Give me a second to pull up what Pixel always says to his girlfriend. I'm on fucking fire here today. We got no Jimmy, so someone has to be the comedian.
Jimmy's a comedian? Okay. Sorry. All right. How about this? There we go. Yes.
So, lucky viewers, if you've ever wanted to own a Casio vintage watch, something that you could probably find at any thrift shop near you, but it comes in a Doctor Who box with a free TARDIS pin badge, well, you're in luck. Step into the world of timey-wimey adventures with Doctor Who and the Casio A159 with a limited edition Doctor Who Christmas box and free TARDIS pin badge. Read more on the Doctor Who website. I could probably just go to my parents' room right now, look at my dad's drawer, and probably pull out this exact watch.
Why? Why is this?
Why? Why would I go back to this?
Go back. That means you
That's right. I'm old enough to own one of these. Why?
Well, maybe you really want that free pin badge.
Like, the only thing that is, like, the box and the badge. That's it.
Give the gift of time.
Give the gift of time. Oh, God.
Give me a timepiece then. Like, like one of those things like you swing on a chain. I'll take that.
Give me a fucking grandfather clock. I'll have no place to put it, but it'd be pretty cool. Give me those old wooden clocks where when it goes at the hour, a rooster comes out.
I don't understand. Like, if it had something like specific to Doctor Who about it, I'd be like, yeah.
If it was like a Doctor Who themed Casio watch.
Do you think that maybe this time traveling hotel thing is going to use the casino?
Yeah.
I mean,
apparently.
What year is the story supposed to be in?
I mean, it's
because Joy's supposed to be from modern day, but given it's like a time traveling hotel, kind of. What year did the Casio vintage come out? Let me check this.
Well, it's got to be the 80s. I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
Casio vintage release date. Mid-70s.
Really?
1974. So unless the year 1974 is pivotal to the plot. I don't know.
Are you enjoying your snack over there, Gevain?
Yes, I am. Trying very hard to get it out.
I can hear that. I heard it. Okay.
Yeah. So Jodie talked a little bit about Big Finish returning to her role.
Oh, what did she say?
Saying she was talking about she was talking with Mandip and being like, oh, how do I don't know if I can return to the role. I can't remember my voice. And Mandip just being like, you're literally doing it right now. You're doing your doctor voice right now. And like, oh, yeah. And then before we get into the review, I met someone.
Who could it be?
Who could it be? Who did I meet?
My man.
On Doctor Who Day, I, courtesy of the audio, the Sirens of Audio, which are a Doctor Who channel that primarily focuses on, audio. So Big Finish. They primarily focus on Big Finish. And they do a lot of these fan meetings in Australia. So I've been to a couple of them before. There's the Janet Fielding one last year. There's the Katie Manning one and Fraser Hines a couple of months ago. But the big one here was actually getting to meet a doctor on Doctor Who Day. So I got to meet Sylvester McCoy, the 7th Doctor. It was great. I got my copy of season 25 signed.
Nice. I'm jealous.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Not only did I get to meet Sylvester, I got to meet some fellow Aussie YouTubers. I got to meet Aiden and Connor from the 50% podcast. I got to meet Josh Snares from the official Josh Snares. And then I got to meet Crispy Pro again, who I'm going to call you out, Crispy Pro. And you were recounting this on your live stream. You're like, I got to meet Connor, I got to meet Aiden again, and I got to meet Josh again. Where was my mention, buddy? I see how it is, Crispy Pro, or should I say Joseph Stalin, with this erasure. No, kidding aside. No, it was great. It was great to meet them as well, especially meeting Josh, Connor, and Aiden. Meeting them for the first time. It's awesome. And then all of us just hanging out to meet Sylvester McCoy. It was a fun event. He always reminding us he was in The Hobbit. He doesn't like dimensions in time. He's like, that thing with the EastEnders? What? What was he thinking? He got to play the spoons. Someone gave him spoons and he played the spoons. He played the spoons on Crispy Pro's head. I was like 2 seats away and I saw that. I was like, oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, he was just playing the spoons at random people and then came up to Crispy and just played it on his head and then moved on.
Like, this is a farewell tour or something for him, right? I think that's what you guys were saying at one point before.
That's the weird thing. Like, it's called the final tour, and then he also brings up, it's like, you're making it sound like I'm never coming back. I think it was mainly just like the drum up interest.
Gotcha.
So
he'll be there.
From what the guys over at Sirens of Audio said, we were lucky to get him in Brisbane, where I am. Like, we had a steady number, but then it was like the week or two beforehand, a lot of people just got their tickets, so that secured Brisbane for him to be there.
Okay.
So I know their next one is Matthew Waterhouse, Adric. He's not coming to Brisbane, so I'll never know if he was right.
I don't think you guys deserve him. We slaughtered him so many times.
What was saying?
We have. I don't think there's a Doctor Who channel on YouTube that has just hated the character of Adric so much that they have killed him as many times as this one has. I don't think there's as much Doctor Who fan fiction killing Adric as the amount of times that we killed him just a few weeks ago.
So yeah, that's the next one is Matthew Waterhouse. There's a maybe. They're attempting to get. I'm not going to say who, just in case they haven't made it they haven't talked about it publicly on their channel. They're trying to get someone from the first Doctor's era to come to Australia. So we're pretty limited with who that is. It's like 3 actors. So no, 4 actors. Yeah, 4 actors. Yeah, we're limited to about 4 actors. So they said that's a maybe. They're going to try and see. Hopefully we get more like classic Doctors like coming here as well. I'd love to meet Colin Baker. I think that'd be amazing. I'd like to meet Peter Davison again. Maybe bring fucking Paul McGann here. That would be awesome.
Yeah, McGann would be cool.
McGann would be cool. Yeah. Tom Baker definitely won't. I mean, he's getting there in age. We say this all the time. Whenever he's trending on Twitter, we all dread. Like, is this as it unfortunately happened? Because he's getting there in age.
And I'm really starting to warm up to him as a doctor now. With these last couple that we reviewed.
Why is you warming up to him, Gevain?
He's actually pretty freaking funny. I mean, it's just like it was like.
Why do you think he had the longest run? He was like the Doctor for a time.
Oh no! It's like if a British dude knew how to play the dozens, it would be Tom Baker. So it's just like, yeah, this dude is like, just yeah, he goes in on people in such a charming way. So I get, like, how old was he when he did the role, Baker?
Let me have a look. Tom Baker.
Because he comes off like a snarky college student half the time. So it's like,
let's see. He was born in 34. He got the role in. He was 40.
Really? Okay.
If I'm doing my math correctly, and I'm half Asian, so I should at least get half of that right. He was about 40.
I need you to stop being as funny as you are. This is unacceptable.
Because I don't know if you can follow us up next week.
Would you tell Tom Brady to stop being weird with his kids? I don't think he would.
Yeah,
I don't think he would. Pixel, despite the fact it's really fucking bizarre.
I didn't know Tom Brady was weird with his kids.
He likes to kiss his kids. Like, not even like
it was started by his supermodel wife though, which is still weird too. But
hey, you know, men.
And you might not be able to keep them after you lost all that money.
We do anything. We do anything for women, don't we? Am I right, Pixel? Am I right?
You're not getting a fist bump for that, buddy. I think we're done. The funny thing is, as you were telling the story about the things he was saying, I could hear it in his voice. Can make it sound like I'm never coming back. I can hear it. It's right there. Now, speaking of death.
Jesus Christ. Speaking of death, Sandman.
Gevain, why don't you start us off with our review of Bad Wolf, The Party in the Waves, the 2-part series finale for Series 1 of Doctor Who?
Well, I will start off by saying this was actually better than I remembered it. I was kind of I'm not sure why, but I was a little bit dreading going into it, particularly as the first part of it starts off with all of the game shows that I guess reality/game shows that were big at the time, Weakest Link and Big Brother, I think is the other one it was referencing.
Those shows have not aged well in the consoles, guys. To the fact that they don't really exist anymore. You could argue the fashion one, which is based off what not to wear. There are all kind of variations of it floating around, but like really, you can't really say there is a Big Brother or a Weakest Link anymore. They keep trying to bring back Big Brother, and it's like,
yeah, they do.
You know, the internet exists. I can just go onto, let's say, I don't know, Kick, and find a lot of terrible shit that people are doing on there. I don't need to see it on TV. I can just go on the internet. I don't, because Kick is terrible and has the worst of the worst in existence. But like, you could argue Fish Tank Live is kind of like Big Brother now. That's like the closest you can get to it. But like,
Netflix has all these terrible Big Brother clones all the time. So all 31 flavors of, Big Brother. Long, it should have died a long time ago. But Netflix is keeping it alive with, now it's just everything's romance now. Everything's trying to find the right person. Or what's the other one they do? The Mole. That's the one that my daughters watch. They try to force me to watch, but I refuse. So it's. So and I think that's initially what was throwing me off. I was just like, this was dumb when I saw it or whatever it was. But then once it's revealed that this is just one hokey way for the Daleks to basically take over Earth one more time, to subtly invade Earth one more time, then it got good again. I said, okay, I remember this now. And again, it's I missed the review we did. I think, what was it? Was it the Revenge of the Daleks? It was the one where they took over the Earth using middle management techniques, where they took over the whole planet. So I like this idea that it was the one where I think it was 4. I think it was Tom Baker. Was it Tom Baker? Yeah, I think it was Tom Baker. And basically the Daleks were running.
I think it was Tom, because he only had 2 Dalek stories. Those were Genesis and Destiny.
Yeah, so he was like, they were running the whole planet, but basically they were managing the humans that were the humans have to report to him and give performance reports, and all of a sudden the Daleks are now on the running for becoming my favorite Doctor Who villains, because I'm like, they just don't exterminate. They actually, they try different multi-level marketing schemes to get the job done. And here again, what's that?
Yeah, I think it was Day of the Daleks.
That's the third.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, it was one of them. Yeah, it was actually really enjoyable, because it was just funny watching the Daleks just basically use, like, what do they call it, Sigma 6 techniques to get the results that they wanted. But with this one, once it got revealed that they were basically not actually killing people, but the preferred method of disintegration, but just transporting them to a planet to do all their dirty work for them, I was like, all right, this is kind of cool. And I just had forgotten what the episode was about. And then it had a lot of good things. You had a lot of characters, like the Lydia character with a Y, whom
Linda.
you see. Linda. Thank you. Linda with a Y. Who basically is almost, in a sense, like a threatening surrogate, a rival, if you will, for Rose. And just seeing Rose, this is, I think, one of the reasons why my daughters don't like Rose, because she can be a petty little, just at the drop of a hat. Jack Harkness before his downfall in real life, being his entertaining self. And it was just a lot of good elements to it, a lot of good setup when the Dalek reveal happens, and then going to Party of the Ways, which actually I was like, I did not remember it as being as good as it is. Watching it I think the second or third time around, but also didn't realize how many parallels it had to you have to forgive me, because I'm trying to think of, it's not the end of time stuff. It was I want to say it was the Children of Time episode, but it was the one when Davros comes back. Yeah, when he comes back, and it's all the Children of Time are fighting against them, and it's like kind of like, it's neat to see how they capped it off, like they made this tie between what happened with 9 in this episode to what happens with 10 when faced with the same choice to wipe out the Daleks, where 9 goes, I'll be a coward every time, and it falls to Rose to basically wipe out the Daleks, as it were. You have the 10. You have 10, but this, like, sort of a little bit more maniacal 10 basically becomes Shiva, destroyer of worlds. So it was interesting seeing that watching that and realizing they're making that connection later on. Great death scene. The black guy who was ruthless to the end and won the contest and didn't believe the dollars would come in, and then classic Saturday morning fashion, got his comeuppance. I don't deserve to die like this. I'm rich. I deserve the money. This and that. And it had a little bit of everything, and I really enjoyed it. Thought it was good. Yeah, I thought it was good. I'll say the first 20 minutes, you could miss me with that. Because it feels like, because Doctor Who was coming back as a revival, there's just a part of me that felt like they had the weakest link Big Brother stuff in there, like as some kind of forced corporate synergistic crossover kind of a thing. It's like, hey kids, have your parents sit down and watch this with you, whatever. But once they got past that stupidity, it actually turned out to be a pretty good and a pretty decent, like, what you want from a Doctor Who episode, or any good like sci-fi action adventure story. So yeah, enjoyed it.
I have to agree with Gevain that I forgot how good this was.
Yeah.
I was entertained by the Big Brother. It's silly, it's fluff, but it's entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're watching it, and as when we go ahead and start with Weakest Link, and Rose is just having a gasp because she's like, I don't understand half what you're saying. And she's just laughing and laughing, and then, oh, well, I guess I'm going to vote you off. And she's distraught, and Rose is like, what are you doing? I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I have to vote somebody, and I think you got the most wrong. And so she gets voted off. You are the Weakest Link. The android.
Mm-hmm.
It's genuinely fun stuff. Well, not the disintegration part, but everything before that. It's good to have fun before disaster. Also, I really loved the whole interaction of when the Doctor shows up after and he's face to face with the Emperor, and Rose says behind him, "You're saying they're half human? That is blasphemy! Do not blaspheme! Do not blaspheme!" I love it. And his reaction. Since when do you have the concept of blasphemy? It's really good stuff. It's so entertaining. And I don't know why I don't remember that. Like, I would agree that it was a good finale, but it's really good. And Earth ends up nuked. That's not so good. But it's still entertaining.
They got me.
They got me in Australia. I thought that in Australia.
Oh, yeah, y'all were the first to go. That's right.
This is weird.
Australia, or whatever that was. Apparently, I've been colonized before y'all got nuked. But anyway, that explains your half Asian heritage.
Hey.
Chris, I'm sorry to say, you are the weakest link.
They said go for the ex-cons first.
Yeah, I knew the Daleks knew that they had to get rid of Australasia, as they call it.
There you go.
They had to get rid of Australasia first because they figured out, well, they probably have samurai emus. Let's get rid of them first. Let's get them. We're not going to lose a war with them, okay?
There you go. We got it. We got it, boys. We figured it out. Chris, why don't you give your thoughts?
This is a great finale. It really is. It's really such a good finale. Yes, it is. With Bad Wolf, the first part, the whole reality shows is very dated. It is very of its time. But we have to remember that Russell, during like this first series, was kind of good at like satirization. With Aliens in London, World War One, like making fun of politics, like the government, and with this one satirizing like reality shows and people's fixation with it to the point it's like they don't care that like this is now to the extreme. Everyone now dies in it, but it's entertainment, and the human race is just now too lazy to do anything about it. They're just all sitting inside watching people die, and everyone's a contestant. Okay, you get no choice. So I think that's great. It is funny, and it is well, not really funny. It is yikes in retrospect. The whole Captain Jack being naked in front of a lot of people. Oh no! That age?
It aged well.
Poorly. Did that age poorly with what came out about John Barrowman? Oh no! To which I lead into a brief, funny fact. The scene where Jack is disrobed was originally filmed full length with rear nudity. According to John Barrowman, this shot was vetoed by the BBC. This was their only complaint of the first season. But no, Bad Wolf is...
No.
Yeah. But no, Bad Wolf, it's great. Leading up to party, I will say the only thing I don't. It's a very minor complaint. They do the Dalek tease twice before the full reveal. They do it with Rose, and then they do it again when they kill the controller. I feel like they only should have done the one.
Yep.
It felt unnecessary to do two teasers before the full reveal.
Especially since it was so reminiscent of when they first showed up in the first Doctor's episode. It is is pretty much the same kind of shot in terms of seeing it from the point of view of the eye star. Yep.
And then you had to add they added the controller being exterminated. It's just like, we already had the teasers like, oh, it's Daleks? What?
Mm-hmm.
But the Doctor's speech at the end, no. What does that mean? No. It means no. It's so good. And then leading into Parting of the Ways, that first moment, the Doctor and Jack going to rescue Rose is amazing. The conversation with the Emperor of the Daleks is fantastic. It just shows how great Eccleston is as the Doctor. Like when he's very emotional. It's awesome. Then the entire episode, the rest of the episode is also just really damn good. And I do agree. Like, I do, compared to the three of us, I do like Rose. Not as much as other companions. I'm fine with Rose, but in retrospect, she is very kind of terrible, especially to Mickey. Now, granted, you can be as terrible as you want to Noel Clarke, but the character of Mickey is thrown under the bus a lot. Especially with Boomtown, it's just like, well, Rose isn't here. She's run off with some other man. I'm going to go date someone else. And then she complains. It's like, oh, wait, look at this person.
She totally knifed him with there's nothing to keep you around. It's like nothing. No, exactly. She even think about I'm standing right there, sis. It's like,
yeah, and you just see Mickey crumble inside. It's so bad, but there's great scenes with Rose, Mickey, and Jackie. Then leading into our end, the whole resolution of the Bad Wolf. Now, granted, this will start the whole trope of Russell's quick fixes. It's like, oh, how do we get rid of the antagonist? Oh, it's pretty kind of easy now. But it ties in thematically to the whole Bad Wolf thing, and it leads to the Doctor essentially sacrificing himself to save Rose. He's doing a Doctor thing. He would sacrifice himself to save his companions. Then, we have our goodbye to Eccleston and our hello to David Tennant.
Yep.
It's such a really damn good finale, which is you bring the show back, you have to end it really well.
Yeah. And to your point with Mickey, it ties a lot of stuff together because the idea that, Rose, when she's talking with her mom, and they go back to the one episode where she traveled back in time and she comforted her dad when she died. And, there's a scene in that episode where you see where Mickey, in a sense, he falls in love with Rose, he kind of imprints on her because he sees her as an adult. And it's almost like he doesn't. And so when she so brutally rebuffs him, it's kind of this idea of he's always been in love with somebody who's kind of not only out of his league, if you will, she really doesn't see him as any more than pretty much that kid, if you will, in a sense. It was just a lot of layers to Parting of the Ways than I initially remembered. A lot of not just things that they in the future went back to, but just throughout that whole season, what they call back to, and just, not in real explicit ways or heavy-handed ways, but just very subtle things. And, and I'm not sure if that was deliberate or if that's just me reading into it, but it does feel like there's some intention behind some of the things. And to do all that, within a 40-minute episode, it's top-notch stuff. So, yeah.
Russell, remember how you did finales?
Right.
I'd love for you to be able to write characters again, family dynamics, good finales.
There's something that we seriously forgot to go ahead and discuss for news this week, and that is a bunch of deleted scenes for this past season was released on the 23rd of November. This to celebrate Doctor Who Day.
Oh yeah,
it showed.
There was also the entire scripts for all of Series 14. The scripts for every episode were released online, and we had confirmation with Space Babies. They cut out the Sugar Babes reference of Push the Button. because it is in the script.
Mm.
It is in the script that he, on the jukebox, it plays Push the Button by the Sugar Babes. Because it's like, yeah, this push the button thing, where did this come from? Like it. But it's in the script. It's in the script. But anyway,
yeah, it just shows that I think that Russell needs at least somebody to take a step back and realize, hey, you know what you've really been great at? Characters and character moments. Why don't you do that? Why don't you focus on that? Why don't
I think the problem is he's in charge and he just has yes men around him.
Yeah,
he really does need someone to be like, maybe don't do this, maybe don't say this, maybe tweak this a little bit. But I think the problem here with him being fully in charge, well, Bad Wolf is about what, 90-something% in charge of like everything with Doctor Who. It's just when it comes to like broadcasting of him, like merchandising and whatever, it's BBC and then Disney Plus for international. So
I think that maybe that's why because he has been really quiet since then. So maybe
don't worry, when Christmas comes out, he's going to say a lot of dumb shit.
Why can't you let me have hope, Chris? Why dash my hope?
I had hope, and it was called the lead up to the 60th.
Ugh, boy, don't even start.
I had hope, and then it's like, okay, this is kind of good with some things I don't like. Let's see how the series go. And then the series happened, and I'm like, Russell, how can you cannibalize yourself and be bad at it? How do you copy your own homework and somehow still get an F? You copy an a homework that got an A, and you somehow got an F.
I think
I want to have hope for this next season because he's writing less of it, which I think is a good thing.
That's going to help.
But he is still the showrunner.
Okay.
Everything still gets brought to him in the end.
Okay.
He might just decide, fuck it, the Zabi are the final villains of the season.
Yeah, it's kind of like George Lucas' original trilogy versus George Lucas prequel.
They're now the god of webs.
Yep.
The god of webs. Yeah, you know, I really think still
it's nice to see when Russell was at his A game. That isn't Wild Blue Yonder.
When what?
That isn't. It's good to see Russell at his A game when it's not Wild Blue Yonder. That's the exception I would give him. Of like his recent stuff. Wild Blue Yonder was really goddamn good. But everything he's done for Series 14 so far has been either like, it's okay, it's above average, or wow, this sucks.
I don't. Well, I mean, what we talked about Space Babies, which we gave a really hard time. You thought that most of it was entertaining the first go around.
I thought it was fine.
Devil's
Would I have chosen Space Babies as the premiere? Absolutely not.
No, I agree because
I think it's fine. It's not the worst episode. It is the most baffling choice for a first episode.
Because it's...
and the fact that he just copied End of the World like thematically. It's like, again, you copied your own homework and you were somehow worse on it.
Exactly. It's like when you do a turn left redux, and it's like, but without the payoff. It's just like, dude, we know what you're doing, and it's like, if it's not as good as it was the first time around, why'd you bother? You're not saying anything new doing it this time around. So I'm with you on that one. It was just like,
I still
sometimes you need filters.
Church of Ruby Road was. I don't know why they didn't just start from there because the episodes premiered a couple months later. Like,
Yeah, it follows directly off it.
Yeah, so it's Church of Ruby Road that really is that first episode of the season that they went ahead and made a Christmas special for some reason.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you kind of have to watch
day,
because Space Baby starts with like Ruby entering the TARDIS, and you're gonna have no context whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yep.
You didn't watch Church. But anyway, we're talking about current Russell, okay?
Sorry.
We're here to talk about
past Russell.
The first Russell. We talked about the first Russell before he regenerated into Stephen Moffat, who regenerated into Chris Chibnall, who had an unexplained regeneration into the second Russell. All right, we're talking about the OG Russell T Davies, you know? So before we get into our own ratings, as usual, I'm going to talk about, some fun Mad Men trivia about these episodes. I already talked about the John Barrowman thing, where it's just like, let's just show everything because I'm kind of a freak. If John Barrowman was at the P. Diddy parties, I would not be shocked.
No, don't do that to the brother.
Numbers.
So fun. No, I said I'm going to give fun facts before we do some ratings. All right. This is the last episode until The Beast Below, in which David Tennant does not make an appearance. This is Bad Wolf Part 1. It is the first episode. It's the last episode since until The Beast Below, which David Tennant does not make an appearance. According to Doctor Who Confidential, although Anne Robinson was invited to voice the android, the expectation was that she would decline. A celebrity voice impersonator had already been hired to record the lines when Robinson accepted. Initially, the controller survived into the next episode to provide the Doctor with someone to talk to, until RTD decided it would be more effective to have him converse with the Emperor Dalek instead. I think that was actually a much better idea.
Yeah.
I think it was very clearly that was the better choice. And for Parting of the Ways, as we know, submerging the Dalek mutant puppet in the Emperor's water tank destroyed its inner mechanics. As a result, the puppet would not be used again until the Series 4 finales. The other time we see the Dalek mutant, it's the CGI version in Daleks in Manhattan. This is the Parting of the Ways is the third regeneration episode to credit both actors playing the Doctor. The first two being in Logopolis and the Caves of Androzani. The fourth would be The End of Time, which was David's last episodes. Unlike the first two and like the fourth, the incoming actor is last to be credited. And Parting of the Ways is the first time the Doctor, or any Time Lord for that matter, is seen regenerating standing up. As previous Doctors collapsed before regenerating, this would later become the norm. And of course, this debuts the whole gold regeneration energy thing, which I kind of hoped they would retire. I'm kind of sick of it. I like the uniqueness between regenerations, but whatever.
The fourth generation was bullshit.
No one asked for your opinion. No one asked for your opinion. And also, this is the first episode to feature a same-sex kiss, with Jack kissing the Doctor. It would then happen again in everyone's favorite Chris Chibnall episode, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. And then happen again in the 12th Doctor's debut episode, Deep Breath. And then Jack would later kiss someone he would think it was the Doctor, but it was best companion ever, Graham. All right, let's get into ratings. Gevain, what would you rate? Should we do as a whole because it's a finale? I think that's how we've been doing it. Yeah, okay. How would you rate?
I like to do parts if I can. Overall,
okay, Landry it up. Go ahead.
Yeah. For me, for Bad Wolf, I would give it a 9. I would give it a 9 only because of the reality show stuff. And I see why Davies thought he could get away with it as a writer, you're often told not to make things too topical because it can become dated. And I know with the Doctor being a time traveler, you could kind of get around that, but it really doesn't work. And with Party of the Ways, I'm really gonna have to go with a 10
You should
for
have
that.
taken notes, Chibnall. Fan.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Fan.
but with Parting of the Ways, I'm gonna have to go with a 10. I really there's really not too much I could pick apart about that one. I think it hit all the right notes from beginning to end. So if I was gonna, so overall, I would the finale as a whole, I would give it 9.5. I thought it was really top notch stuff. Yeah, I think something that I didn't have a good idea of, but watching it again was like, wow, this is really bang up stuff. But I think the only reason why it kind of doesn't sit well in my memory is because of the reality show stuff. So that's the only thing that keeps it from being a 10 for me as a totally. And then as a first part, a 9, Bad Wolf, and a second part, a 10.
All right, the Pixel who was formerly a professor.
Regenerated.
Liar. Faker.
I would give this. I'm going to rate it as a whole.
Okay.
I'm still going to go with 9. It's a
Okay.
really excellent finale. A lot of greatness. The reality stuff is fun. It's fun, but you're right. It does kind of date it a little bit, and even though it's dated good for me because I
one of those. Well, apart from like, I would say, the makeover show.
No, yeah.
Like everyone, I feel like everyone knew Big Brother because they probably had their version of Big Brother. Weakest Link is like maybe
Yeah.
It would be like someone had Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in it. It's just like, bro, that's like so like that year that it happened.
Deal or no deal.
Yeah, that's another one.
Family Feud.
Yeah,
Although
there you go, Chris. Yep.
That's still a thing, but I wouldn't really say Family Feud is.
I need
a show. It's relevant for its moments.
So there needs to be an edit now where instead of Weakest Link, it's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with robot Regis Philbin.
It should just be the Running Man. That's all. Then it just covers everything.
It's American Ninja Warrior.
There you go.
Anyway, I think 9 is a very. It's still a great episode. No, that's not a good reason. I think it might be a 10. I'll go 10. I'll change midway because right as I'm having this argument, I'm saying 9, and 9's a solid number. 9's great, but I don't have anything really weighing it down, so I have to go to 10. What?
Make up fucking mind.
I made up my mind. It's a 10.
All right, good. Pick a number. Maybe this is why you're not a professor anymore. You're not thinking logically. You're not giving facts.
Okay.
You're just making up whatever you want. And
Okay.
It's like,
give me your ranking, Australian.
9.5.
Okay.
See, was it that hard?
I think Chris is still high on his meds.
Sit down. Sit down.
He's got a twinkle in his eye that I'm not quite sure.
I don't know. I did
What's
take some cold and flu medicine earlier. So I don't know. Maybe.
What's that 0.5 that's giving you trouble?
I don't know. I don't feel like it's as a whole. It's a 10 out of 10. It is very. The reality show stuff is very dated. It really dates the episode, unfortunately. A lot of the side characters, it's like, yeah, you're there to die. Like it's very cliche with like with Linda, it's just being like, the Doctor being like, I'm gonna get you out of here, and then at the end when they say their goodbye, and it's just like, oh, she's dying. Unfortunately, she's dying. The two game station workers that are like flirting with each other, it's just like, you're not making out. You're not getting together for that drink. You're both getting exterminated. You're out of here. So it's a bit cliche, I would say. But other than that, really goddamn good two-parter.
Yeah.
It's definitely like, I think it's, I would say, thinking of it now, I think it's better than Series 4, but Series 4 mainly feels like it's a really good finale because it feels like a wrap-up of Russell's era. Whereas this is just like a standard, just like end of the series, wrapping up like the story arc of that series.
So, yeah, and that's the yeah, you're right. That's the difference, because with the Series 4, it's more like the Justice League or the Avengers coming together, and that's like the main draw of that. But this actually, it feels like it's tying up, like you said, it's tying up story arcs and subplots and things like that, and that's the big difference between the two. Yep.
I, for one, can't wait for Zack Snyder's Stolen Earth and Journey's End. every time, they're both going to be 4 hours each. They're both going to have pointless director's cuts. Whenever Rose appears, it's going to play Wonder Woman's theme.
Wait. Did you just say that the... Okay, that's a different conversation. Let's end this.
What? Director's cut?
No, I'm not a Snyder bro, but the Justice...
Neither am I, and I think... And I do like the Snyder cut of the Justice League. It is too long for its own good, but it is better than the Whedon.
Yeah.
The theatrical version. I'm more making fun of Rebel Moon because that's fucking god awful and it did not need director's cuts. That's just him being like self-indulgent.
Did you watch any of the director's cuts?
No, but I know they slightly changed the story. But it's like I already watched both of these films. I'm not watching Rebel Moon Part 1 or Part 2 again because they were awful. This is why you don't get Zack Snyder to write. He's not a good writer. He really isn't. He's good with visuals. That's what he's best at. Keep it like with Michael Bay. Don't fucking put Michael Bay in the writing room. We get racist Transformers. That's how that happens.
Oh Lord, don't even get me started on that one.
You trick SpongeBob into being racist Transformers. That's
what was Snyder's first film?
Snyder's first film. Ooh,
yeah, it was like Butterscotch. What was it? It was like the all-girl band, but they were kicking everyone's butts they were in the Matrix.
Sucker Punch is not his first film. It's a remake of Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, Sucker Punch was like, okay, I get it, but yeah, you're right. It's all visuals. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all visuals. Yeah. Does the plot make any sense? Absolutely fucking not. But it's all visuals.
It does not.
But anyway, Doctor Who.
We gave it 9.5.
9.5 total. 9.5 total overall. Yeah, so 9.5.
I'm switching to 9.5 too because guess what? You're right. Fuck you. I got a long day. It's the day before Thanksgiving. I know you don't understand that as an Australian. But...
No, I'm not thinking shit. I'm not thanking anyone in my existence.
At Thanksgiving, it's a very busy day. I work in a grocery store. Can you imagine my day? Yes, you can, because you work Black Friday.
Yeah.
You have a department store.
Yeah. I'm working retail during the Christmas season.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know how it is. I know how it is.
I do not miss those days.
But we don't have Thanksgiving here because we're not American. All right, we don't think we're the center of.
For you.
We don't think we're the center of the universe.
I didn't
see, and this is why the Daleks get them first.
We tell the truth. Imagine all of Boston losing all their tea. Fucking morons. Prohibition, you idiots.
Can we end this? Say goodbye.
Imagine having a felon as your president. Oh.
Imagine having a bunch of felons as your
Speaking of fellow hello, Connor.
You are all criminals.
Hello, Connor. Fellow criminal. in Australia. Hello, Connor in the chat.
You are not freaking colony. Okay, let's end this.
But our Prime Minister's not a convicted felon. He might be an idiot, but he's not a convicted felon.
I think it's a full moon in Australia.
Go away.
Yes, the bright
Joining us for
the bright sun outside.
Man with a box. I'm going mad in this box right here. He's driving me mad with his box right there. Poor Gevain is just watching his box out there.
I can say one word about America. Florida.
Good night, Alonzi.
Hi, everyone.
California.